It's Tuesday of the week 6, I believe, this semester. It's the continuing mess that we're in. I guess some of you are around because of the OLNA. We're in our syllabus now. We're in the marketing section. So the last video that I tried to create for you that I don't see people really watching, and unfortunately it's going to be very difficult to review. I can review concepts, but I can't go through all the examples that I usually go through. Is not being watched. You guys are not watching the videos. I look at the attention span. I can see how long people watch the videos for. I'm not that exciting, I know. I'm not a YouTube video. I'm not a cat falling out of a tree or a goat kicking a soccer ball into a goal and celebrating. I'm not as interesting as an Instagram video or a picture. It's your schoolwork, and you've got to focus a little bit. You should be sitting somewhere that's fairly quiet with your notebook and your textbook in order to be able to do the lessons, just like you're in class. It's only, a couple hours out of your day. It's not a 90-minute video. It's an hour, sometimes less. So it's not that long. But you've got to be able to focus for more than 10 minutes. And that's like the average time that people watch videos for, 10 minutes. It's too short. Okay, so back to the marketing plan. You guys should have the marketing plan in front of you now, or at least like in your classroom, so you can see what the marking key looks like. There's a lot of points available. It's a huge task. It's worth 15% of your grade this semester, so it's really, for the year, and it's worth 30% of your grade this semester. So it's kind of up to you to take responsibility for these next few weeks. You can see from the deadlines that are given that your research has to be pretty, you don't have, when we come back, your research has to be mostly finished, but you have a lot of free time now, so this is great. You should be using this time for research. Now, the 3 things that you need to work on are the pest analysis. We're lucky that in our subject there's so many examples of these online. There's so many examples that you can see to use as a reference. And that's for just about everything that we cover. I know that it's better to have it explained to you, but at least you can hear different explanations and you can see examples. So a pest analysis to review is the market that you're in, the external market. So if I have people who are proposing some food delivery ideas, there must be some laws. I don't know if they're enforced. I don't know if the government tries to enforce them or cares, but there must be some laws that cover what you sell to other people. What if somebody gets sick from the food that's prepared? Can they sue you? If you don't have a license, that could mean that you get sued like double or triple, where you have to go out of business or some lawsuit happens to you. So there has to be some regulation on food, some kind of laws that apply to hygiene. You can't just go around and sell sashimi. It's uncooked fish. It's kind of surprising to me. But anyway, even if the law is not enforced, you should be able to write about the legal factors and political laws that affect your industry. Economic factors, basically you're talking about how much people buy when when they have a lot of money, And I remember when the housing market went up very strongly here, so if your house was worth $2 billion or $3 billion in 2006, by 2009, it was probably worth $6 billion. So that means people had more wealth, they had more money, they thought they had more money for the future. So there was an increase in the purchase of Mercedes-Benz. There was an increase in the purchase of smartphones. So people felt like they had more money, so they would buy more luxury products. Teenagers, I don't know how your pocket money fluctuates. I don't know what the system is in terms of your parents giving you money. But maybe you have more money in your pocket than you used to. So maybe you have more freedom to buy bubble tea, or maybe the purchasing that you do now is different from what it was before you were in high school. So you can see how having a little bit of extra money in your pocket will change how you think and change what you buy. Those are economic factors. It doesn't have to be, it has to relate to your product or service. You don't have to write about political or economic factors for the country. This is just how it relates to your business. Social trends, there's a lot going on there. Some people were asking me about donuts, and I thought, I don't remember seeing too many new donut shops. I used to like Dunkin' Donuts. It's American, so I'm used to it, so I kind of like it. Donut and a coffee sounds good to me, but not catching on in Vietnam, which kind of surprised me a little bit. I mean, the donuts are not that expensive, and it seems like people might like them. But some reason, maybe you can find out if you're doing something like donuts or cakes or bakeries, why certain people like certain things and why certain things don't work. I remember there was like some kind of weird cupcake revolution about 10 years ago. There were cupcake shops opening up. Everybody wanted cupcakes. No, nobody cares about cupcakes. Cupcakes are hard to eat, for one thing. It seemed like the reason why cupcakes were popular is because a lot of people were like, oh, they're so cute, we like cupcakes. You can decorate them, they're so pretty. That didn't really last, right? Because once you eat them, you're like, it's okay. It's not the greatest. It's okay, it's okay. It's too much sugar, maybe it's too much sugar. So what are the social trends? Maybe that's why donuts are not popular either. People want to limit the amount of sugar. So you got to understand what's the images and social trends. Gavin's coming in. So you never get to see Gavin anymore, but he still exists. Hey, what's up?
Recording.
Yeah, I am. What's going on?
Nothing for
Are you going to be here for a bit?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
So the things that are driving the choices that customers make can be economic, right? Or they could be a social trend, like I don't want so much sugar in my diet. I think that we can all agree that since as the country gets wealthier, there's more kids that are overweight. So that might be a concern as well. But why? Why donuts? Why did they fail? They could, it could be possible, I don't know. I've seen some good donut shops come and go. I saw some Korean donut shop the other day. It was probably about 2 years ago. It was near Khao Lak Bo Lang An. I liked it. It was really cheap. I was like, wow, this is great. I'm glad this place exists. It was gone. And then I went back there and there was a new shop. And I was like, what happened to the donuts? And they were like, they went, I don't know. I said, where'd they go? I said, I don't know. Do you want to bat me? Is that a social trend? Is that a healthy trend? Or is that just like some idiot who failed to tell his old customers where his new business was? That's a big mistake. Anyway, then you have technological factors that affect your business. Probably have to do with payment systems, delivery, apps, so those kind of things. What is your competition using? That's probably one of the better ways to get some insight into some of the technological, let's say, trends or effects or expectations that customers have for your business. So don't do a pest about the whole world. We don't need that. We don't need every factor. Not every factor applies. If you have 3 good factors or 3 good examples of each factor, that should be fine. So that's the first thing that you need to be doing. The second thing is you need to be looking at your customers. Now, what we usually do in the years past is we have surveys, customer surveys, which means you have to actually go out, you and your partner, and interview 10 people each. That was what we do traditionally. So you have to go find out who your customers are and talk to them so you get some feeling from them about what they like. So that means that you should be constructing some kind of survey. Now, I know that we're just getting to see other human beings again, so it's not as easy to do surveys as it was before when we have our students around us. So it's a little bit tricky, but really, I don't think it's that hard. I'm gonna put some questions up, a couple of examples of like things that can help you to ask questions. So if I'm on the desktop here, I can show you this picture is, so we have this one. This one says customer profile sheet. This is the one I would use to guess. So before you ask your customers what they actually feel or what they actually want, some of you are sending me some ideas that you already have strategies. You don't even know your customers, but you have some idea about who your customers might be. So I'm going to send you, or I'm going to upload this customer profile sheet. The idea is that you answer the questions about your customers a bit first, and then you compare what your impression is to the data that you get from your research. So it'll ask you, describe the type of person who could be your typical customer. Just use general language, what you feel like, I don't know, energetic, someone who's very spontaneous, they make decisions quickly, somebody who's, a planner, they like to plan things. Just some qualities that you might feel might be related to your customer. What kind of person, someone with children, someone who likes to, family, something like that. What is the age range? Not the age range, from here to here. When you ask questions about people's age, some people don't like to answer them. Sometimes people ask the question in different ways. They can ask like, which group of people is your age fit into? It's okay. It's, if someone's writing the survey, that's pretty good. If you're doing the survey face-to-face and speaking to the person that you're interviewing, I would recommend that you just ask them their age and write the number down. Later, when you collect all the ages of the people, you can look at the group and then you can get some feeling about what's the age range from the numbers that you have. You don't have to make the ranges in advance. You can just let the range form itself. When you do a survey, you never ask the name of the person who's doing the survey. People are more honest when their name is not connected to the survey. So don't ask people their name. Second, don't ask people their gender. If you cannot see the gender of the person, then it's going to even be worse. You might say he or she before you even ask them. You should be able to tell, generally, in Vietnam, people's gender before you ask anything. So just write it at the top of the survey. Write female, male. Don't ask, what's your gender? It's a waste of a question, and people think you're stupid. Okay, so don't ask that question. Again, there's three things that you probably just go directly, no name, no gender, and ask them the first question. Are you interested in this product or willing to try it or use it? If the answer is no, then there's no reason to really go on unless you want to ask why not. That's about the only question. Those people who say, yes, I'm interested or I already use this product, then you have a chance to ask them questions. So you can start your main information with 3 or 4 things already. Gender, age, and how many people are willing to use this product based on. I asked 45 people to take this survey. 25 said that they're not interested in this product. 20 said yes. So we have 20 surveys, and those people are surveyed, and the information is here. So that's how you start the survey. If someone says no, do you have a dog? No. Okay, so how often do you walk your dog? Doesn't make sense, right? So you don't ask them. So at the beginning, make sure you clarify those things, those main things. That, just, the male or female. Then you can measure male and female against interested or have a dog. So you already have a few things that you can put into a pie chart already. You didn't ask any questions yet, and yet you have some data. After that, you should use this template here, and what do you think about your customers? And then make your questionnaire. And then make your questionnaire. So after you make your questionnaire, I have another template here so you can put the results of your questionnaire. So then you get some feeling about them. Okay, so this is what we found out. This is what the level of education. So you can use these templates to figure out which questions would be interesting for you. Of course, you have your information needs. There are 3 steps to the market research process. Information needs, collecting information, analyzing. So in your information needs, you and your partner, first you write down some ideas. Then you look at what you think your customer is going to be. Then you go and you make survey questions. Most people don't want to answer more than 12 questions, so you have to be very selective, and you have to know why you're asking each question. So each question should have attached to it, and I'm going to put a task on that you have to send me this. Each question should have attached to it the reason why you're asking the question. So when you do your final market research, you turn in your market research, I'll see, oh, okay, you asked this question because you want to know this. You ask this question because you want to know. So where do you usually find out about, what kinds of, do you respond to advertisements? Which kind of advertisements have you responded to in the past? I used a Facebook ad before. I clicked on a link. I found an ad on the app for Grab Bite. And I save 50% off on a pizza because I use my Grab points. Okay, so find out what kind of advertisements have made them do something before. And then your idea, what you write under the question is, I wanted to find out which media will reach my target market. So the question asks them, what advertisements have motivated them to do something before. And then you ask where they come from, like an app or online or a Facebook ad or a newspaper or a billboard or whatever, and then you write underneath it what information that you get from it. 12 questions, that's it. Then you have to use the other research that you do to try to put together a customer profile. So that's what this template will be for, a customer profile questionnaire template, and you'll get some results from that, hopefully. And then you're going to be able to write a couple paragraphs, customer profile, in your marketing plan. How you understand your customers to be. So, we can look at one of those. Keep in mind, this is just an example, and it's way too short, and it's not really real. So, it's just giving some general idea. Here we have a customer, do we have one? Oh, that's weird. Okay, well, I'll have to, as we develop that, we'll have to put that in there. That's in this not very good sample marketing plan that's on page 48. They have a summary of the market position, which is related to pest. So where would your company see yourself in a position in the market? And that would, we're at the high end, low end, expensive, luxury, cheap, discount, bargain, value for money. Current market, that's the pest factors, and then you get to the product, what you're selling, so you'll give more information about that, then you'll talk about your competition, but before that, the target market should be first. So unfortunately, the target market is not first. I would put the target market before the competition. That's later. We'll talk about that later. But the little thing they have on target market is on page 50. It's too short. You're going to explain more about your customers, but it's in the same category of response. The typical Dippin' Donuts customer has a sweet tooth. That means they're like a sugarholic. And they like a donut to munch on after a meal, like a dessert, or as a snack with a coffee. Customers are they have two different customers they found out. They're either age 25 to 45 with a family, and they're purchasing their behavior. So we had the customer, we had the demographics, we had geographics, and then we had psychographics, which had to do with customer behavior. These customers usually buy multi-packs of donuts, and then you'd probably say something also about how often they buy it, once a week or on weekends. Alternatively, there are other customers who are teenagers who just purchase one or two donuts that they eat straight away, usually after school or on weekends. Both males and females are customers in equal proportion, so everybody loves donuts. Now that's very short. Yours will be longer, 2 paragraphs probably, but that's the kind of analysis you'll do. And you'll have to talk about why. You have to justify why you believe what you believe. So that's why you need to use this information so you have enough notes to be able to respond to or reflect on to make your answers. Okay, so then we get to competitor analysis. I'm not going to do that right now. We'll do competition later. But what I do want to do is I want to focus on a little bit of what the goal we're trying to do here is. We're talking about something called a competitive advantage. The competitive advantage relates to what you can go back and look at on page 47. Page 47. So when you get all your research together, you're doing what is called strategic marketing. You're making a marketing strategy. You're saying, based on what we know about our customers and our competition and the market and the media and the factors that are affected our business in the past, based on those things, this is what we think would be the best strategies for our company. Typically, there are 4 Ps. Some of you probably know this already, but probably not much detail. The first P is the product. The product is, or service, is what you're selling to customers. The product is the result of research. The product is a result of you understanding what it is that your customers expect and what they want and why they buy. So the product is, here's the benefits customers will receive along with the product or service. So usually we describe product in terms of features, which I'll go through, and benefits. Features and benefits. There's a difference. Price. Obviously, price is done by comparing yourself to your competition and understanding how much your customers are willing to pay for some service or product. Promotion. Promotion is how the business will communicate to its customers. Personal, public relations. We talked about the difference between PR and advertising already, very quickly in week 2 and 3. What did I buy yesterday? Last night I'm the first one. I'm the first one in Saigon to try the new Oreo covered in chocolate, Cadbury chocolate on an Oreo cookie. It looks like there's 2 companies, Cadbury and Oreo. I don't know if they're 2 companies, maybe they bought each other, but they look like they're coming together to try to make a better cookie for everyone. Cadbury plus Oreo. It wasn't legally for sale until midnight or something yesterday, and when I went to the store at 11:15 last night, it was already on the shelf. I argued with them. I said, look, you can just put it in the register after midnight. Just give it to me now. I'll give you the money, and then you put it in the register at midnight. Big deal. Finally, I got to take it home, and I ate the Cadbury-covered Oreo cookies. It wasn't as good as it looked in the advertisement. I've been getting advertisements on Facebook and Instagram for these for weeks. Yeah, it's okay. I don't like milk chocolate. It should be dark chocolate. It's just too much milk chocolate. It looks really good in the picture. So I would say it's disappointing. The picture is too good. The advertising and promotion makes it look better than it actually is. Anyway, promotion can affect us and drive us to buy something. I like chocolate-covered things in general. Maybe it's hard to have chocolate-covered things in Vietnam because of the heat that we have here. It's hard to keep them on the shelf. If you don't have air conditioning, there's a good chance that they'll melt and then they won't be very fun at all. So just an example. So promotion is how it's communicated to the customer, and then location and place. Place is, it's not only your physical shop, but it has to do with distribution. It has to do with how you move your product to your customer. So that includes shippers, any kind of delivery services that you would have, anybody who comes to install the product. So if you have a new air conditioner and you don't know how to put it in, you need somebody from the shop to put it in, that's distribution. That'll be under place and service in place. So there are 3 more P's here, but I don't want to dwell on them too much. The main point that I want to make is that there's something called competitive advantage. This is the main concept, and all successful businesses have one. So you'll need to figure one out. Part of figuring out your competitive advantage is to figure out what's your competitor's competitive advantage. In order to establish a competitive advantage in marketing, you've got to have at least one of these factors which is better than the others. Now, you could have all of them better than the others, but that's not really necessary. You only need to beat your competitor in one way that they cannot beat you. So, products, okay, you can offer them something that's a better quality, perhaps, or has features that the others don't have, flavors. Promotion, you might have a very great looking image, brand, style, promotional strategy, looks good. People are very easily tricked by these things, but if you don't have anything to back it up, like the Oreo, maybe it's not great. But some people want to be associated with a brand, so if you create a brand that people want to be associated with, then you've already got a good head start. Place is becoming a payment method. We're going to put payment method under place. So distribution also has to do with how people buy. So if you have a means of payment or a system of creating, let's say, loyal customers or customer cards. Like Starbucks has its customer card. You put money on the card, like a credit card, and then you can get rewards for that. Keeps the customer loyal. They don't have to take money out of their pocket every time they go there. They like it. So I put that under distribution. Okay, so all kinds of exchange and distribution would go through that. Now, that's getting to be a factor that's getting more and more powerful in terms of competitive advantage. So, well, let me make one more example. Like promotion, Domino's with the 2-for-1 on Tuesdays. That was a very good promotion, right? I mean, everybody has 2-for-1 pizza now, so it's kind of over. But for a long time, everybody would wait till Tuesday and then get Domino's special deal. Okay, so price. I left price for last. So let's look at this competitive advantage video, and then we'll come back.
So let's spend a couple of minutes exploring what it means. And the best way to understand competitive advantage is to think about questions like this. Why is it that Amazon dominates so many e-commerce segments now? Not just in the US, but around the world. How is it IKEA has managed to become a global multinational leader of the home furnishings market with over 30% market share in many countries? Or why is it that Nike, 1 in 5 pairs of running shoes, athletic shoes sold in the US are Nike shoes? Or in the UK, 90% of online web searches use the Google search engine. What is it about those businesses that give them an advantage? Well, the first thing is to understand what competitive advantage is. It's a sustainable advantage, not something that just lasts for a day, a week, a couple of months here and there. This is an advantage that can be sustained and therefore gives that business an edge over competitors who can't replicate that advantage. And therefore they're more likely to succeed and therefore to have higher market share and earn higher profits. And essentially, competitive advantage comes down to one of two things. It's either that a business has a cost advantage, is able to produce its product or service at a lower unit cost than the competition. In doing so, it's probably more efficient. It perhaps operates at a scale where it's enjoying significant economies of scale and economies of scope. And it's organised its operational processes, its production processes in such a way to make it highly efficient, thereby giving it a difficult-to-beat cost advantage. Or the business has some kind of differentiation advantage, that the customers perceive that the business is able to differentiate what it does, either in terms of quality, style, customer service, whatever it is, that means that the perceived value of the product and service beats the competition. And that really is the essence of competitive advantage. If you've got a cost advantage, and even if you've got a differentiation advantage, chances are you could probably win in the long term. And of course, what's nice about that is you can make a link, therefore, between the concept of competitive advantage and Porter's generic strategies, a useful model to bring into any response or answer where you're talking about competitive advantage. There we go. Hopefully that's been a useful introduction to this important topic.
Important topic, yes. So let's say that it's related to the 4 Ps, right? There's a reason why I don't talk about price. Some of you already, in your ideas for a product or service, wrote, I am going to have a discount sushi restaurant that's cheaper than the others. You already have this idea about competitive advantage. That's great. You know that you have to beat the others. Fantastic. That's a great thing. However, you can't use price as a competitive advantage in our class. Why? Because the price, we're trying to talk about a market that's competitive, right? This market has competition. Other companies should have available to them the same options for suppliers at the same prices. They should be able to buy advertising in the same places that you can at the same prices. They should have to pay workers at competitive rates, just like you. So there's not going to be any cost savings. Last but certainly not least, the place that you put your business, the rents that you pay. You have to pay the same rent as they do. They have to pay the same rent as you do. It's a competitive environment. So there's no way that you can have a cost advantage. And that's focused on production too. It's not focused on marketing. I want to focus on marketing. So for three main reasons. It's a competitive environment and everybody has the same options as you. So you can't save money that way and be cheaper. Second, we're focused on marketing, not cost, not being cheaper than the others. And third, it's not, it's easy for you, it's too easy, right? It's just something to say, oh, we're cheaper than others. You have to have a reason to be cheaper. You can't just say we're cheaper. So that's out. So I'm limiting you to your competitive advantage has to either be product, somehow you have to have some way to, some innovation or something that's different about your product. Product, as we'll see, includes everything from the beginning, everything from how you deal with people to the after-sales service to how much information your staff knows about the product, the customer experience. Promotion, good branding, good name, possible competitive advantage. Place, distribution, how you reach your customers, what media you use, possible competitive advantages. And then we'll talk about people too. People, customer service could be a competitive advantage. But not price. We're not doing price. No price. No price. No. I know you want to say price. No price. So let's look at this in another context. So competitive advantage is the marketing, which marketing factor that you use to be better than your competition. And it's related and has to be related for our task to one of the 4 P's, but not price. Here is something called Porter's generic strategies. Porter, these are generic marketing strategies. Porter is going to talk about price. He's going to talk about pricing strategy, and then we're going to complain and say, no, we can't do it. And then he's going to talk about the other strategy. The other strategy is called differentiation. So differentiation is what you're trying to do. You're trying to make yourself stand out from your competition one way or another, but not price.
In this business topic video, we're going to take a look at a very popular and well-known approach to strategic choice, marketing and business strategy. It's the work of Michael Porter, Porter's generic strategies. Now, the challenge facing business leaders and marketers as they try to determine the most effective, successful strategy, of course, is how do you get a competitive advantage over the other firms that are operating your market or industry. Porter did a lot of work on this area, and in particular he looked at the concept of competitive advantage and what strategies could be adopted that would be more likely to succeed. And in essence, he identified 2 broad approaches to how successful strategy can be determined. He argued that firstly, differentiation was a strategy, or secondly, low cost was a strategy, both of which could give a firm a competitive advantage. What do we mean by competitive advantage? Well, we're really looking at a sustainable advantage over the competition, not just a short-term thing. The ability of a business to organise itself and position itself in the market, and also make sure that its operations and all its supporting activities are geared towards offering value to customers that can't be beaten by the competition. That value might be through low prices, supported by low costs, or it could be that the value is perceived to be really high because the product or service is differentiated, it's highly differentiated, which enables the business to charge a higher price. And therefore, Porter's generic strategies essentially was around what are the sources of competitive advantage. And I've summarised this and simplified it, of course, just to help make it easier to understand and apply. But essentially he said there are 2 different types of advantage. One is differentiation, the second is low cost. So let's spend the rest of this short video just examining what we mean by low cost and differentiation. With low cost, the objective is to try to become the lowest cost operator in the market, in the industry. And typically what this involves is organising the business in such a way that it's able to achieve economies of scale. You'll remember from our revision video on economies of scale that these arise when
So this is what we cannot do, right? We cannot become the lowest cost operator. The only way that you could become the low cost operator is to either A, have some kind of access to a supplier that's better than another supplier, or B, that you sell so many products that you get discounts from your suppliers, and that's what economies of scale means here. Economies of scale is when you're so big. You all know this from being a shopper, right? If you buy one of something, it's always more expensive than buying 24 of them. You get a discount when you buy more. You get a discount because they want to sell more, they get smaller profit, but they sell more. That's what they want to do, have a higher output. So that goes all the way down the line. When you buy more, the supermarket gives you a discount. When they produce more, their suppliers give them a discount. So you're not going to be that big. We're not big businesses. We're just small businesses. We cannot achieve this level called economies of scale. We cannot achieve the place where we get a cheaper discount. We're a small business, so we have to compete against the market price. So that's great, right? But there's, unless you have your own farm, let's say you were a coffee company, there's 3 ways that you can have a low cost advantage. 1, you have a secret supplier. No one knows them, or it's illegal, or maybe it's like not even safe. 2, you produce so much that you get discounts from your suppliers. Or 3, that you own the supplier. So if you're a coffee company and you're selling coffee like Footlong. Footlong makes cafes now, so they didn't have cafes before. They just sold beans. And they had a brainstorm. They said, okay, we can also get more profit if we sell the coffee. So they have their cafe now, and their beans are really cheap for them because they make the beans too. So they have an advantage over their competition. The competition has to buy their beans from another company. But Footlong, they can just use their own beans. So there's 3 ways that you could have a cost advantage, but you don't have any of them. That's why price is not a competitive advantage, because we can't do it in this case.
Unit costs fall as output increases, and economies of scale are a common feature, but not the only feature, of successful low-cost businesses. The reason why low cost is potentially a very important and powerful source of advantage is that, of course, if selling prices in the market are broadly similar, the business that's able to operate at the lowest costs will be able to enjoy better profits per unit sold than the rest of the industry or competitors. Similarly, if the lowest cost operator wishes to adopt a strategy of building market share, because its costs are low or lowest, it will be able to offer lower prices than the competition. And depending on the price elasticity of demand, that may allow it to grow market share. What kind of products is this suitable for, a low-cost strategy? Well, this has changed over the years, but it was often said that the best products for this were those which don't require much differentiation, don't require much personalisation, and potentially products where branding is less significant. We'll take a look at a few examples. But look out for the key features of low-cost operators. I've mentioned it's partly or to a large extent determined by the scale of the operation of the business. If a business is able to achieve high scale and high economies of scale, that will drive unit cost down. But that's not necessarily the only source of a low-cost advantage. It could be that the business is highly efficient. Perhaps it's invested significantly in automation, more so than the competition, which enables it to produce more.
It's not really necessary to know all these reasons, just the main 3 reasons I gave. I want to move to differentiation. So we have low cost, right? These are big companies. Ryanair, they don't give you anything on the airplane, no drinks, no food. They limit the space for your legs, they limit everything. You're just gonna go for a 1 hour flight, arrive at your destination, you don't really care very much. It's not luxury, and they can offer you a cheaper price, and that's fine, because you're only gonna be doing it in the air for an hour. Walmart, just huge company, they get cheap prices. We saw the video before. Walmart gets cheap prices because, I know we did, that was year 12. Walmart is so huge they can push the prices down from their suppliers. Aldi is also a cheaper supermarket. This phone companies, Sweetme or whatever, XIME, I don't know, they are successful. Why? Because they are, they don't have to pay like a brand image. Like why is Nike $100 or more, and then the typical shoes or another shoe that's pretty good, it's almost as good as Nike, costs like $200,000, $300,000. It's because the branding, you're paying for all that advertising that Nike does. The advertising is in the price. So all those times that you see advertisements on TV and Nike and sponsorship and Cristiano Ronaldo running around in Nikes, you're paying for that. You're paying for Cristiano Ronaldo to get paid to run around in Nikes. So that's part of the price. So a company that doesn't have a huge marketing budget, like this company here, they don't have to spend as much money on marketing. They can give the benefits and save money to you. Okay, differentiation.
It's a lower priced series of smartphones and tablets that have proved very effective in building its market share in China against the likes of Apple and Samsung. Let's move on to differentiation for a few minutes. What do we mean by differentiation? Well, the key here is not so much to gain advantage by having those costs, but it is to do so by having a product that is so differentiated and distinct compared with the competition that customers value that differentiation, they value the differences and are prepared to pay perhaps for that difference. And you might imagine there are a number of different ways of persuading customers that your product is in some way differentiated, different, and therefore better than the competition. One of the obvious ways is to have a product with superior quality, significantly better product benefits, maybe more reliable, it lasts longer, it has features, a wider range of features than the rest of the competition. It could be that the product is differentiated by way of its distinctive branding, which of course is a great source of competitive advantage.
Branding is part of product. A lot of people don't realize that. Why is it part of product? Because it never changes. So I'll go into that someday and probably review it 10,000 times. But the difference between product and promotion, if you're not sure, you might think, oh, brand, it's visual, I can see it, so it must be something that's promoting the product. It's promotion, right? Well, it's actually product in terms of marketing, because we talk about promotion and product as being related to things like the easiest way to test yourself, if you ask yourself, is it product or is it promotion, is to say, does it change or doesn't it? Does it ever change? So, for example, the brand of a company doesn't change. It stays the same. It becomes part of the consumer's internalization of what the product is. It's a Nike product. If you change your logo all the time, I guess that, I don't know what would happen, but it would probably lose you customers because they wouldn't be able to identify the product. It's the identity of the product. Promotion, on the other hand, is temporary. So even if it goes on for a month, you have a month-long sale, it lasts for a month. It doesn't last forever. It's temporary. Even if you put the packaging also, you can ask the same exact question. Is it something that's going to be temporary or is it going to be permanent? So when Coca-Cola put the names of people on the Coca-Cola cans, and you could give it to your friends with the name of the person, if they still did that today, or they made it into like Name Cola or whatever it was, that would be a brand, that would be product. The product would be Name Cola. But they only did that for 6 months or something, so that was a promotion. If they make a special can for Tet Holiday, It's a promotion. It doesn't last. There are some parts of, okay, let's say you went to a shop and they put up on the wall a painted sign that said 30% discount, and they left it up there forever. It looks like a promotion, but it would actually become part of what we would think of as the image of that store. That would be the store's image. That would be their service, their product. So it doesn't change. That's the biggest question you can ask yourself. Is it something that's dynamic and changing? That means it's a strategy for promotion. Is it something that stays the same? Then it's a product strategy. So we'll talk about that again later, but that's the easiest question to ask yourself if you're not sure if something is a product or a promotion. Ways to achieve differentiation. Product quality, okay, so we're going to talk about this, I guess, in the next video. It'll be easier. Features, benefits. So a feature, just for the most general terms, a feature is something that the product is a design of the product. It's some function that it can do. It has 3 cameras. That is a feature. Benefit. Benefit is what does the customer get out of it? Okay, it has 3 cameras. What do I get out of it? Well, now I can take a picture of someone in front of me, myself, and my feet at the same time. That's a benefit. That's an awesome benefit. Benefits are usually emotional. Like, what do you get? Okay, what do you get from, okay, we'll take orange juice. Orange juice, feature. 100% pure orange juice. Benefit, health. Benefit, refreshment. So what does the customer get from the product? After they consume it, what is the feeling they get? So the feature is what it is, and then the benefit is what you get. And those can be competitive advantages, obviously. Other adjectives, reliability. Some things we want to be reliable, like a computer or a motorbike. Branding. The branding creates customer recognition and brand loyalty and has emotions associated with it. That's also product. Distribution. Okay, so these two are product. Distribution, as we know, is another P. So distribution is placed. So across all major channels, there's some way that you're better than others. Last one, promotion. So these are the 3 other P's that we can use. The other one is price, cost. These are the 3 other P's. Product, place, and promotion. So those are all different ways that you can differentiate. You can make yourself stand out compared to your customers. So those are related, right? Position, like we had positioning before. Position is where the customer sees you compared to your competition. And then differentiation is your strategy, how you make yourself different. These are competitive advantage. I think we're just going to finish with competitive advantage today because it's a very important concept. I'm going to make a short video also about your task and show you an example of a task so you can get a feeling for how much work you really have to do. It's going to be short. It's only going to be like 5 minutes. So stay tuned for that. I'll play this for another minute and then I'm out.
For those able to build a brand and to sustain brand loyalty. But it can also be differentiated in terms of how easy it is to buy the product or service. And it may well be, for example, that the product is able to succeed because it's been made widely available across all different distribution channels. Lots of examples, of course, out there of each of those different sources of differentiation. Apple perhaps being the best example of a business that is able to achieve significant product differentiation built around its brand and a very high level of customer loyalty. The world's most profitable company must be differentiating its products, by definition almost. But there are also others. Of course, Dyson has been able to differentiate its products through a significant advantage in product innovation and building a brand off the back of that. And you might also argue that even a hotel business like Premier Inn, whilst it is trying to operate at a lower cost segment compared with other hotel chains, the product itself is highly differentiated in terms of its offer of a good night's sleep. And of course, luxury brands. Many luxury brands, all luxury brands, aim to differentiate their products, both in terms of perceived and actual quality. What Porter said was that those are the two key ways of gaining advantage: low cost and differentiation. But the danger is if you are neither low cost and neither highly differentiated, the danger is that you get stuck in the middle. And the problem of being stuck in the middle is that you are faced with competitors who have lower costs and therefore may be able to offer lower prices. And similarly, you are also faced with competitors who have a highly or more differentiated product or service, and therefore they're more likely to appeal to customers who value that differentiation. So Porter basically argued that businesses stuck in the middle between low cost and differentiation would be likely to suffer competitive disadvantage. And I guess we all have different views on this. Here are 4 examples of businesses who I think maybe have suffered from being stuck in the middle. Certainly.
So the argument or the discussion here is that, some companies, they don't stand out. They're not the cheapest and they don't stand out. So then you're in the middle. So you really, if you want to be successful, you either have to have a lower price, which we're not allowed to do in this test, or we have to stand out. So somehow you have to figure out how to make your company stand out and be differentiated from the others. Okay? So I just wanted to introduce competitive advantage today, and stay tuned for that other video about the task. I hope everyone's doing well, and please try to keep up to date with the videos. I know it's going to be a hard 2 weeks now, but we really, I'm going to expect to see some work when you come back. All right? So have a great day.